A rare kind of funnel cloud appeared in the sky over Clark County today. We'll explain it and have reaction from people in Winchester who saw it.
Detectives in Franklin County believe a group of people may be responsible for hundreds of thefts from vehicles across multiple counties.
We have an update tonight on a WKYT investigation that looked into whether Kentucky animal shelters are complying with laws. Has anything changed since our story?
WKYT News starts now with First Alert Weather.
Good evening to you. Thanks for joining us tonight. It grabbed the attention of thousands of people in Clark County this afternoon. A strange sight in the sky.
It grabbed our attention too. Many of you sent us eyewitness pictures or videos of this. Look at this. A funnel cloud in Winchester. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey tells us it is rare to see a funnel cloud like this one. He's joining us now to explain exactly why is that, Chris?
Yeah, you know what? It's rare to see a funnel cloud to begin with, but especially one that actually comes from a shower and not a thunderstorm. We did not have a thunderstorm over top of Clark County at that time this afternoon. As a matter of fact, this is about 10 minutes till 2 this afternoon. Here is your Defender Radar Network view of a small little shower, and I mean it was small, just covering a few neighborhoods here to the south of Winchester. And it was spitting out a little weak funnel cloud, even though it's not a true thunderstorm. I call this a landspout funnel cloud, and by that I mean it comes from the same family as a tornado. Technically, had it touched down, it would have been considered a tornado, a landspout tornado. But it does not come from a supercell thunderstorm like you typically see in the Plain States or around here when we get these thunderstorms that put down tornadoes, cause damage. This was from a shower. Does not come from a wall cloud. Those tend to be very thin and very weak. Think of this as something like you see at the beach sometimes. You look out over the waters, and at times you'll see a little bit of a spin coming from a cloud out in the distance over the ocean. Those, they touch down, they're called water spouts. They don't do a whole lot of damage, but again, this one right now can't find any evidence that it actually touched the ground, so some good news there. What we're dealing with now, still a couple of scattered showers and thunder showers into parts of southeastern Kentucky. Defender Radar Network showing a drying trend settling on in from west to east. Guys, when I come back in about 10 minutes, we'll focus on the forecast for the weekend, and I'll show you how a strong cold front may mean some strong thunderstorms.
Thanks, Chris. And as you can imagine, this funnel cloud has been the talk of Winchester the last few hours.
And while it didn't cause any damage, many of you called our newsroom or posted on our Facebook page to tell us about it. Garrett Weimer continues our First Alert Weather Team coverage with reaction from Clark County.
The people we talked to weren't too concerned about the funnel cloud. They were just surprised to see it. It certainly has kept this town talking. It got people's attention and didn't let go. Folks all around town spotted the funnel cloud and posted it on social media.
BCTC Winchester campus, can I help you?
Folks at Clark County's BCTC campus ran outside to check it out.
So we all kind of rushed out here, was standing right here, and as you could stand right here, you could see it just directly right behind that tree line. And it was very skinny, it was kind of in an S curve, and it was reaching down behind the tree line.
Clark County Emergency Management sounded the county's sirens even though there wasn't a tornado warning to give people a heads up.
We just err on the side of caution because the weather is unpredictable at times and you just never know what it's going to do.
Emergency Management here tracked the funnel cloud for about 15 to 20 minutes. In Clark County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Well, in parts of southern Kentucky, high water caused some problems this afternoon. A small dam broke in the Ottawa community of Rockcastle County, causing water to flood parts of a dairy farm and the yard of a nearby home. The owner of that farm says the water was 8 feet deep in some places, and a man who lives nearby says he had a hard time getting to his car to move it to higher ground.
It was too late. I tried to get my car out and everything. It was just too late. I couldn't get it out or nothing.
The owner of the dairy farm says the high water kept him from making some of his deliveries today. Remember, we can help you track storms with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. You can download it for free in the app or Google Play stores.
Tonight, investigators tell us they have connected 3 people to thefts from hundreds of cars in central Kentucky. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says Justin Hendershot and 2 juveniles were involved in what they're calling a large-scale theft ring. The sheriff says that many of the thefts were in Franklin and Anderson counties. Victor Puente is tracking the investigation tonight.
While I've been here at the sheriff's office, they brought in more items that were stolen that they've recovered. They say one of their biggest tasks now is trying to match those up to the people they were stolen from. The evidence room at the Franklin County Sheriff's Office has dozens of phones, guns, and items of clothing labeled as evidence.
Probably close to 100 items or so.
Melton says a small group has been responsible for hundreds of thefts stretching across multiple counties. Yesterday, they charged 20-year-old Justin Hendershot and 2 juveniles with receiving stolen property. One victim was Brittany Woodward.
And I was devastated. I sank to the ground, and I remember first calling my mom and just crying.
The hunting bow she had saved up for and disappeared from her car about 2 weeks ago.
Other than shooting it when I purchased it, I've never gotten to take it to the range.
So when she recognized her arrows in these pictures, she called the sheriff's office.
Is that your bow?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, here's the report you filed.
Melton says they've started getting other calls as the word spreads. They believe many of the items were sold to unsuspecting yard sellers.
These individuals had a yard sale on Shinkle Lane for the last 2 Saturdays selling items.
He says the case broke when his detectives spoke to investigators with the Lawrenceburg Police Department, and they each realized their thefts spread further than they realized.
Whether they're in Anderson County, Franklin County, Scott or Shelby, we want to make sure the victims get their property back.
Melton said they still have several firearms that they believe are stolen, but the owners either didn't have the serial numbers on file or haven't even realized that they're missing. In Franklin County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Sheriff Melton is asking anyone who bought goods that may have been stolen to give them a call. He says anyone who doesn't could face charges if they bought property that they believe could have been stolen.
A woman charged in a 10-year-old Lexington hit-and-run case entered a guilty plea on some of the charges. Carmela Velasco Palacios was originally facing a felony assault charge for the crash that left Ronald Woolhams in a wheelchair. Today, she entered a conditional guilty plea on 3 misdemeanor charges, including leaving the scene of an accident after turning herself in February. Her attorney says Velasco entered a conditional plea because she plans to appeal the charges, citing statute of limitations.
No acknowledgement, not even an apology, I'm sorry or what. Just left me there to die and she's getting away with it. Basically, it's what it is.
Velasco was told to report to jail next Friday to serve out her 240-day sentence.
New tonight, Lexington police have charged a woman accused of leaving a child alone in a daycare van. Police say they served a criminal complaint on 23-year-old Dorothy Gateskill, charging her with second-degree wanton endangerment. They say she drove the van that belongs to Precious Jewels Daycare on Augusta Drive. Police say back on August 3rd, Gateskill was supposed to drop off that 3-year-old child at his home, but didn't. They say the child was left alone in the van for more than 9 hours outside the daycare. Police say Gateskill did not check the van after her shift to make sure that no one was still on board. Police say the child was dehydrated but otherwise not injured. Also new tonight, state police say they have found more explosive devices in Harlan County. They say troopers found 2 devices near the Woodland Hills subdivision yesterday and safely removed them. In June, police arrested Mark Swarf after they say he placed explosives in trail cameras. They say they took him back out to that area last week to look for explosives, but police say a Lexington fire investigator shot and killed Swarf after they say he tried to escape and fought with police.
Kentucky's animal shelter laws haven't been updated in 10 years, and in that time, no one has checked to see if the state's 90 county animal shelters were even complying with the laws. Last summer, WKYT started the conversation, and tonight, a group of college students have some answers. WKYT investigative reporter Miranda Combs has the new developments.
Okay, Miranda, where to go?
We turned some heads last summer when we went to Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter in Perry County and found conditions below what state law requires.
Do you need help? Is it a funding issue? Is it just too many animals?
Over the following months, we got to know this shelter.
This is Haas. We had Haas's brother here last year.
Even saw a success story.
He was close, I mean, very, very close to death.
And when they opened the dog crate, hey buddy, as he emerged, it was all the defenses I'd put up, just imagine how bad he could be. I mean, I could never imagine how bad he would look.
The shelter serves 4 counties, receives very little funding.
Usually I just do a visual physical exam.
A local veterinarian shows up on his lunch break to work for free.
Does this shelter need more money?
This shelter, all shelters need more money. I'll tell you that straight up front.
That was visible here, but just how bad it really was statewide, no one really knew until now.
So that's why we started this project.
1 year later, at a Kentucky Animal Control Advisory Board meeting, 3 women shed light on every county shelter in the state.
If you don't know what the problems are, it can be hard to really solve those problems. These are just 2 pictures of example.
They are students from the University of Kentucky and Lincoln Memorial University.
You know, you have to have passion for this, and you have to, I mean, it was a lot of time. It was a lot of driving.
They spent their summer break in places like this.
The workers at the shelter zip-tied a refrigerator shelf to the front of that run so that they could house animals in there.
Visiting all 90 county shelters, rating their compliance with the state standards.
All 6 of us, you know, we learned a lot.
And looking for reasons why.
Ultimately, the goal was to determine, is more funding at the state level necessary and more oversight at the state level necessary?
Because the last law that was written on shelter standards took effect in 2007 and took the policing away from the state and put it in the hands of the counties. These students found that's not the answer.
The counties have had 10 years to, you know, be responsible for their county shelter, and I think we found that that's not working.
They identified 26 shelters in the state well below the state standards. These are the top 5. The 5th on the list takes us back to the Kentucky River Regional Animal Shelter.
In some of these cases, you know, we just cringed because we hated to have to give that shelter a red because the people cared so much and they tried so hard, but they just didn't have the facility.
There were few questions and many thanks from the group that reports straight to the Agriculture Commissioner.
And this is going to be an excellent tool for us to be able to show the state lawmakers, here's why we need these changes.
Mike Cassidy is president of the board. We caught up with him after the meeting.
We never have had those statistics in the past.
Now he has proof to take to lawmakers, a reality he knew existed but couldn't put a number on it until now.
And it's going to save us a lot of trouble when we go to Frankfurt to try to introduce legislation.
Possible policy changes on the way because a group of students stopped wondering and went looking. In Frankfurt, Miranda Combs, WKYT.
Well, the students plan to have their report complete by the fall. For a complete list of county shelters that need work, according to that study, you can go to our website, WKYT.com.
Could a well-known Central Kentucky historic site be upgraded to a national park? A look at the effort next.
And then it appears a Central Kentucky family search for the owner of an historic Bible has a happy ending. Camp Nelson Heritage Park in Jessamine County is trying to upgrade to national park status.
Congressman Andy Barr is introducing a bill that will be part of a study to see whether the park can be listed as a national park like Mammoth Cave. The Department of the Interior will conduct that study. The park receives thousands of visitors every year. Once the study is funded, the national park will have 3 years to complete the process.
We have another update on a Lincoln County family's efforts to return a World War II soldier's Bible to his family. We first told you about the Veterans Bible Tuesday night at 6. The young family says they found Milton Cummins' Bible in a china cabinet they recently inherited, and they're not sure how it got there. The Young say they have now tracked down relatives of Cummins who live in Kentucky and will return that Bible to them tonight.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Tropical sky out there right now across central and eastern Kentucky. A little different looking sky earlier this afternoon. This is all the buzz into Winchester. That bad boy is almost touching the ground. And actually, I just had the first report on Twitter of someone saying they actually saw that funnel cloud skipping along the ground. Now, if that is the case, then it becomes a full-blown tornado, but that has not been verified as of yet. But you look at that video of that funnel cloud in Winchester, very teeny tiny, narrow, coming from a shower, but boy, I could see how that may have grazed the trees or briefly touched down. And that you can see the interstate traffic right there. What a view. One of the more well-documented funnel clouds you'll ever see around here. All right, let's look at what's going on right now. Compare and contrast. I'll take this guy. We're looking toward that western horizon, and it's a little on the tropical side, as we mentioned. 79 degrees, and the humidity is at 79% as well. Wow, that makes it feel a little warmer than it actually is. Today, the old flipsy is going on with the temperatures. 83 in the north, 73 in the south. So the south is cooler than the north. Why? Because we had more rain, more in the way of still some leftover showers. Bluegrass region, we're in pretty good shape for the evening that is upon us. Now, maybe a little leftover sprinkle or shower south of 64. Then the farther south and southeast that you get, still dealing with a local downpour or two, but nothing like what we had a little earlier in the day. And some of that gets as far north as Menifee County around the Frenchburg area. How do we look rolling into our Friday? High school football Friday. It is back in the Bluegrass. Scattered thunderstorms, nothing that is a washout. Though, if you're heading out to a game tomorrow evening, especially around kickoff, there's at least a chance for an isolated shower or a thunderstorm. 3-day threat track will focus on Saturday into Sunday morning for some thunderstorms that can, especially Saturday evening, be strong or locally severe. Then the good stuff arrives late in the day on Sunday. Here's the hour-by-hour forecast to walk you through the next several days. For tonight and early tomorrow morning, still can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm. That chance is with us on and off through the day into tomorrow evening and for the day on Saturday too. Saturday, scattered stuff early. We break out into some sunshine. Winds will become gusty and it will feel, you'll just look outside. If you're outside, just look up and you'll think, you know what, it's probably going to storm later. It just feels the part. And indeed, you're going to be correct, because by the evening, we'll get a cold front in here with a line of showers and thunderstorms that will zip in and out of here with some better air coming into town Sunday afternoon with a lot of upper 70s. It's the same pattern we've been talking about for the past few days. Cold front diving in, blast of September coming in behind it. So you want to get rid of all this ugly air that we've had for 2 straight months now. This front is your best friend as it blows into town this weekend, and that will bring a little taste of September air in through the first half of next week. So Saturday, watch for some strong thunderstorms. Sunday afternoon and evening. If you haven't planned to do something outdoors, go ahead. You have a built-in excuse now. The weather is going to be absolutely awesome. That may carry us into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, too.
All right, sir. We appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
John Calipari can not only coach and recruit, some may forget, Brian, he is an author.
Yeah, Cal is back in the book business. He had a New York Times bestseller once. Can he do it again? And the UK running game, vital this year. And the guys returning are very good. Drew Barker talks about them next in sports. A quarterback has a lot of good friends, an offensive line to protect him, receivers to catch the ball, and a stable of running backs. The ground game has been huge for the Cats in recent years. Boom Williams, JoJo Kemp, Saheem King, Mikael Horton returned for the Cats, who had a great scrimmage last weekend on the ground. With Drew Barker now in charge on the field, he will rely upon them greatly.
Yeah, the running attack's been great. I mean, we have a ton of great running backs. The new guys are even pushing those guys really hard, so they had a great scrimmage. It was good to see those guys come out in their first live situation, make guys miss and stuff. So those guys are definitely pushing the older guys, and the older guys are doing a good job of taking them under their wing and kind of showing them the ropes. So, you know, the running game is huge for a quarterback. It definitely opens up the passing game, and to have a stable of running backs like we have, great.
Our countdown to UK football has reached 16 days. That's the number worn by Wesley Woodyard, Pookie Jones, and the great George Blenda. 16, the number of catches Craig Yeast had against Vandy back in 1998 for 269 yards. Still a Commonwealth Stadium record. Jeff Zerker and Larry Smith, each with 16 solo tackles. The UK single game record back in 98 and 94 respectively. You can see our countdown info on our webpage, WKYT.com. John Calipari already has had one New York Times bestseller with Players First, coaching from the inside out. And now Calipari ready to release another new book. His newest edition is titled Success is the Only Option, The Art of Coaching Extreme Talent. It will hit the stands November 15th. In the book, it explains how he takes high school superstars to play as a team, a cohesive unit in college. Calipari also goes in depth in explaining his team building methods, which can be applied to CEOs, business owners, coaches, teachers, and leaders of all kinds. The 4 U.S. Olympic swimmers who claim to have been robbed at gunpoint in Rio, it appears they lied, and now authorities in Rio have indicted Ryan Lochte and James Fagan on charges of falsely reporting a crime. Now, apparently, American swimmers Jack Conger and Gunnar Bentz, they were pulled off of a U.S.-bound plane. They will not be allowed to leave Brazil until they testify about the robbery. The details still developing in that situation. The UK volleyball Wildcats are ranked number 24 in the preseason polls, picked to finish third in the SEC. They feature a couple of all-conference players in libero Ashley Dusek and middle blocker Kaz Brown. Now, Brown spent the summer playing in China for USA Volleyball. She says even if teams game plan around her, there's enough talent on the court to still make the Cats a tough team to beat.
Our team this year is deep enough where, okay, if you want to target in on me, that's cool because our outsides are really powerful, our right side hitters are really powerful. We can attack the court from almost anywhere this year, so I think that's really dangerous, and I think that's something a lot of people aren't going to be expecting for us.
Sam and Amber, that's sports. Let's go back to you.
Hey, Brian, thank you. A final check of your first alert forecast is next.
And for the first time, Zika virus infections are now showing up on Miami Beach. An update on the fight against the virus coming up.
If you missed it, a little bit of excitement about 2 o'clock this afternoon.
How about that,
you were in on it.
I was in on it. I started getting the pictures. I was looking at the radar, and there was nothing but a shower there. And then all of a sudden, you get pictures. You know it's a funnel cloud. So I went on air and started saying, hey, your tornado sirens are going off. You have a funnel cloud. Chances are it's not going to be anything strong or touchdown. Thank goodness that was the case.
And you've seen some reports of some people that think they saw
They saw it skipping into parts of Clark County a little earlier. If it did touch down, it becomes a tornado. If it stays in the air, it's a funnel cloud.
Kids, that's your weather lesson for today. Chris Bailey.
CBS Evening News is next. Thanks for watching.